see if we can get down into Cali, into Fresno.
Yeah, you're sounding good in Fresno tonight, over.
10-4, Roger there, Bug. I think he got that thing backed up and he got that smoke on the grass there, no doubt about it there, Bug.
Yeah, Tyler's out there listening from Anchorage, checking in tonight. That extra hour was good for something.
You do yourself the same, man. We appreciate the chit-chat and all of that there. That might be helping.
Yeah, I think so. Let's let everybody know that we're out and about and ready to run the net on the old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
Can you hear that?
The old Tube Radio Network.
All right, the old Tube Radio Network. We've got Skipland going. If you hear the low frequency rumble, that's from... can you hear that? A party going on somewhere around here, and of course, your old Tube radios, the shortwave listeners, and it is that extra hour. We'll see what'll happen here.
Hey, sweeping on the Big Island. Bye-bye-bye.
22 is already checked in. Tyler is sneaking in from Alaska already, 22. So we'll get that started off. We'll try and get a couple of check-ins here.
Dennis, go ahead and check in 650.
We'll get 650.
918. Mad Mag said, by his whiskey, trying to wave his hand.
Hippopotamus is in from down under. Mod Squad is not listening to anybody. Who else needs a sneak-in check-in here?
24.
24 is sounding good. Thank you. Got you in. Over. 195. 195 from Course Gold. Over.
Bad whiskey. Hey, bad whiskey. He's waving right back.
And there's a couple on my list that I'll get. But looking for live over-the-air check-ins. 195 we've got.
As he told us. Bye-bye-bye. Back in the back. Hello. One man, you can do it too, my friend.
X4000 is beaconing in. I think he's just above the shotgun microphone tonight.
Dennis, are you taking early check-ins?
I'm taking early check-ins. Go ahead and lay an egg. Over.
I'll have one of them early check-ins. Thank you, Dennis.
Okay, 56 is over. Easy. Over.
How about it, Dennis?
Is that the legend? Over.
Eagle 1, I'm going to try one more time.
All right, 53, we've got you in. Over.
Thank you there, Dennis. Have a good day. Good night. Bye-bye-bye. Hey, Bel Air, top of the evening to you, 603.
Better be careful of this mic noise tonight.
Hey, I hope you freeze the ice.
Let me go quickly off the list. I see Chrissy is in 00. We will get you checked in. Glad to have you with us tonight. We'll go off the first row here, of course, SWL number 1. Mr. OBP, SWL number 2, is out on the video chat. Say hello to Kevin, won't you? He's the guy that's responsible for a lot of this way back when. SWL number 3's got a proxy check, and I have RF coming in the shack tonight. SWL 5, hello, Mr. Rainmaker. And if he's around the radio room, SWL 7, hello, radio.
SWL 7, checking in.
All right, I will never have any problems hearing that signal. Maybe, I don't know. I hear you're sounding good.
Thank you.
10 is in, is 00. 11 and 12. Hello, radio. That would be Dan and Dan. Dan and Dapper Dan. Cornbread. And did someone say Fresno? Well, probably. If I didn't say so and you were listening somewhere, this is the Old Tube Radio Network. We're live on Channel 11, 27085, also transmitting or broadcasting or streaming. One of those things at oldtuberadio.net on your Universal Media Netweb, where you can have a link to the video and maybe hear yourself and give yourself a signal report. The Old Tube Radio Network providing information and tube radios wherever possible on a Saturday evening.
Big mouth, worldwide hippopotamus cruising his big old mouth is moving that way now. Bye-bye.
Directed net roll call, it's where we're at. Page 1 if you're playing the home game. SWL 13. Yeah, why am I getting feedback here tonight? Maybe because the microphonium is way up in the air tonight. Hello, 61, 61 over. All right, boy, that is somebody that knows how to jump in and get in there. SWL 61, Dino, Copenhagen is in. Directed net roll call. If possible, SWL 13. Don't see Mikey in yet. Sangertown, SWL 14, probably trying.
Big Daddy, dig one, punch it in, break it.
SWL 14. Thought I could sneak in there. Hello to.
Hey, Big Daddy,
Hello to Fred and the gang. Yes, a tweed-wearing, pocket-protecting friend 007 from the Jersey Shore checking in. I talked to a New Jersey station yesterday on 40 meters, and then after the net last night, we caught Crazy Bob out of New Jersey. So just a reminder that you should, if you're not already doing this, you should be doing that. TheExtremeCB.com. If you haven't been there, you should check it out. Directed net roll call. SWL 15. Hans is in. It doesn't have to put up with all this skip like we're getting here on the West Coast, if you will, thanks to the hour time change. You can see it's dark, but there is some gray line going on in the Pacific that's causing some interesting items. And let's see, the Echo link is linked up. So we're linking up there, SWL 16. Yeah, we tried. Charlie said he tried to close the skip door early on, but it was just one of those things where I think the lock is broken. Well, it is what it is. But Charlie, you're checked in, and thanks for joining us and being right here as always, right in the middle of the action. SWL 17.
Well, Big Daddy, they call me the great big old mouth, sometimes a hippopotamus, and I'm back on the side in the clean.
And Hans is going to go get a cup of coffee. You better make that 2 strong cups of coffee. We'll see what happens with the propagation here tonight. It should give it another half hour. I know the Ditchbanks sideband net spent the first 10 minutes of the net talking to Australia, which is not a bad thing. Let's go to SWL 18. Got a proxy check in for Mr. KDA. SWL 19. And yeah, Chet is there. He is saying ignore the skip. All right, well, I can try that. I don't hear it when I'm talking. It's just when I'm listening. Chet on cue cards as always. Thank you from Derby, New York, and all places in between and around the corner. Let's see if the Harvey range boost is on. SWL 20.
Hey, bro.
number 20 here. Please check me in, 29 and 54, and we'll catch you a little bit later.
Take care, bro.
All right, we will be here later despite the Skipland's best efforts. Let me go back to 11. 10 is right there. To 11 and 12. Dan and Dapper Dan, cornbread, and someone did say Fresno. Checking in, looking dapper, feeling dapper, as am I. The pocket protector is ready. The headphones are on, and we will have a nice old Tube Radio network tonight. And Aaron, yeah, we knew this was going to happen with a time change. It's just like old times. Not like we haven't been figuring this out for the last 40 years.
Hello, nobody? Hey, nobody, I'm Keen.
You know where we're going next. Let me see. Thank you, Harvey. Got you checked in. Let's see if... And I saw earlier that Mr. JT had the old Tube Radio Network logo up and running on his site. We've got... They're still on the air. You can hear the Hells Angels going by outside. They're having a party. Is that the limo? Maybe we've got the sidecar in the limo. They're listening on channel 17 tonight on the old radio night. Let me show you the picture of what's going on there. They are on. That is a cool on the air light. 20 was on. He's on channel 17 in the Galaxy Saturn Turbo. And I'm just wondering if they have the same conditions we have. You know, what is it? 10 or 11 o'clock at night out there. Anyway.
KB6 GFT.
JT.
So are you?
And we're listening in. Take a transmission there, JT. And I think I heard Tracy come in on the Echo link. Let's.
SWL.
There's
21 checking in.
There's 21. South Carolina's in. Kakalaki is in. And all the ships at sea. Thank you, JT. You're sounding good. And a good program tonight on Old Radio Night. Thanks for joining us from the across the coasts. Across the wide and fruited plains. Have a great afternoon. All right, we're good on that. 21, 22. As you heard Tyler come in right at the beginning of the net here. Super strong, like 10 over and blocking out the mini grass. So Tyler, we have it on tape that you are here. Let's try SWL 23. Got to keep up with my chart here. 24 was checked in early. SWL 25. I was told to get 25 checked in. He is out playing music tonight. SWL 27. Is Dwayne listening on the crossband? And there is 13. Hello, Mikey. Mr. Cobra, waving a hand. For most of the hand. All right, SWL 13. I've got you checked in. 11 and 12 came in as well. Refreshing my page. Hey, Peter, 428, the Squamish boys. Glad we got you guys in last week. There was a lot of delay. We will try again tonight. I did see earlier that the link was up. I'm refreshing the page right now, and it's not showing that it's there, but I think it will be, so we'll check it a little bit later. Who is jumping in on the video side? Let me take a quick hello radio. Sean is in. He's got his clock set for 11 p.m. That's where it is somewhere. I mean, it's any time. Here it's 8 o'clock, of course, on the West Coast. Foxman 362 out of Rockwood, Tennessee, where it's 56 degrees with a little bit of rain going on. Tubes on the air. We will be there. Hemorrhoid is listening in from his appearance over on Old Radio Night, which is still going on, by the way. Rusty Rails saying hello to the Old Tube Radio Network, Central Arkansas, checking in, and proud to be here. We're glad to have you in with us tonight. Private Thor is enjoying the DX land. United Delta X-Ray 183. Hello, Jed. Thanks for joining us tonight. And UDX 4570 out in beautiful Palm Springs. Mark is joining us. Mark Sandquist. The Papa Sierra Victor Odyssey saying hello, radio. Thanks for joining us. We should have some green radios tonight, too. It is the day before. It is St. Paddy's Eve, and we do try to check in as many radios as possible. In the month of March, 9 Whiskey Romeo 2356 from Cranbrook, BC. Seal trying to make it in on a skip. We heard Anchorage, so when the gray line changes, we should be hearing something. I don't know. We'll be listening. All right, back to directed net roll call, where I think I left off at 27. SWL 28. See what's happening up the road. Were we to have some of the sporadic skip, I bet we could hear Gary out there tonight. Breakfast for dinner. I'll say, well, it's not a brunch. It's a brinner. Bacon, eggs, potatoes, toast, orange juice, and an RC to seal the cracks. Little RC Cola with your scrambled eggs. Happy St. Paddy's Day. I think that's a St. Paddy's favorite. They are in the green room tonight. They are doing that kind of Irish. There are some strange little Irish delicacies going on that I will not partake of tonight, but they are out there in the green room. SWL 29 got a proxy in for loaner. SWL 30. Hello, Dwayne. If you are listening in, keep the radios handy. When things calm down, maybe we'll hear you guys tonight. Shortwave listener 31. SWL 32. All right, then, who is that for the proxy check-in? Who is the proxy check-in over? I think we're getting a Skipland proxy here. All right, well, there you go. Anyway, SWL 33, Bozo Control, the Hawking Grabowskis, and all of us here at the Old TR Studios. SWL 34, what is Jimmy doing tonight?
Hey, Bug in the Desert Digger 1, you still showing up. Hello.
Trying to refresh my page. See who's in there tonight. I don't see Mr. Bill in yet. I hope it's not too cold in Cheyenne, Wyoming. We will get Red Monkey Communications a proxy check-in over to SWL 36. Shortwave listener 37. That was you, 37, I think. I don't know. I can't understand a word you said.
Yes. SWL 37, over.
All right, I don't know what's wrong with your radio, but I think that was you.
What's it doing? Hello. I'm on AM. Hello, over. 1212.
Okay, that is way better. Whatever you did is a good thing.
I didn't do nothing. I just got a little bit further away from the microphone.
Okay, yeah, you sound good. I got you checked in.
right, thank you, Dennis.
All right, 37 is in. Boy, talk about side bands going over the AM carrier. 37 with an X. SWL 38. Sam, I'm listening in. I'm supposing Sam is set up a proxy check-in with Hippopotamus here to the West Coast.
Actually, Dennis, I've been on AM all along.
You did what?
I've been on AM. I haven't took it off.
All right, you're just way distorting your audio then.
How's that right there?
Mucho better.
I just turned the modulation down.
Okay, way better.
Okay.
Okay, that's what happens. With those radios, what happens is the sidebands take over on AM, so we hear more sideband than AM, but you are now back in the 100% mod thing, sounding good.
Thank you.
But if I were listening on AM, I would have heard you just fine. All right, 38, we're waiting for 38 to jump in. SWL 39. SWL 40. Larry says the Larry cam is up. Let me see. I think I've got it dialed in. Along with my skip. There it is. There's the Larry cam. There's the audio to said cam. We're going to hear this.
All right, 38. We're waiting for 38 to jump in.
All right, so it is telling us true. Skipland will be referring to the Larry cam later on when you're checking in your tube radios so we can kind of see where they are at and what they are doing. Thanks, Larry.
SWL 40 checking in. I just temporarily raised my antenna by several hundred feet. Over.
All right, I thought I saw something blowing in the breeze, and it was you.
That is correct.
All right, thanks for checking in. Over.
Roger. Back to SDR configuration.
1012 safely back to your shack. Hey, 918. You guys have a good evening time.
George Listener 41 is listening in. Road Dog 507. Of course, always at Tri-County React, Hudson Valley, New York. Saying good evening to all the crew here at the Old Tube Radio Network.
Hello, 129. I have to, 129. I have to leave them on the mall.
SWL 42.
Have a good evening. Bye.
SWL 43. Listening to everything but the Central Valley, where he's at probably tonight. SWL 44. And I got Mr. 360 checked in.
Where are you? 129. No pain, no shame. You were trying to beat up your mobile, but you took it right back. KJ 129. Mad Max waving. Bye. Whatever. Burnsfield B. Aloha.
SWL 45. Paul and Kelly, if you guys are listening up there, you're hearing the skip land and all that good stuff, but we are down here as usual on a Saturday evening. The Old Tube Radio Network going to be checking in some radios. And Ray, I see you in there. Thanks. SWL 46. Shortwave Listener 47.
Good evening, OTR. Boy, this is exhilarating. Good evening from the Radio Lounge, SWL 47.
All right, that is one way to check in. If you can't do it AM, you can do it FM or sideband from the crossband. You are sounding good, and I've got you checked in. Thanks, KB6GFD.
Ooh, that's a fun little illustrator of what the conditions are like. I was doing both bands at once, and apparently you only heard me on the FM mode.
We know, I think your FM was so strong it was probably blanking out your AM mode, but yeah, the FM was definitely the way to go.
Signals right now on the SDR. Wow.
All right, thanks for the check-in. 47, SWL 48.
J6CQB.
J6VLF.
And who has that? 9 Oscar Charlie. Hello, Ontario CB Club. You can hear that we are having a great time
Larry,
with
how many
our
different signals?
DX item.
About 7 on that for a short time.
SWL 49.
Do we know what band? Yeah, I'm sure you can't tell.
I'm looking
SWL 50.
I'm looking at 085 right now.
SWL 51, I saw you earlier, Dave. You said too much skip, and I do agree. It's a little noisy out there. So 51, Dave, we've got you checked in, over. SWL 52 is also listening on the Universal Media NetWeb. Aaron, I've got you checked in, over. Hey, and there's Jimmy, SWL 34, and the scuttlebutt is that you passed the technician class. That's great. Hope to hear you on 10 meters, and a special toot on the train whistle of the Old Tube Radio Network. And that is a good thing. You will have fun, no doubt. So hopefully you can get yourself set up. If you don't already have it, a radio and some antenna. And where you are at, I guarantee I probably talk to you every day on 10 meters. It'll be just like 11 meters, except there will be 4,000 less people on our frequency that we want to chat on. And it'll be like, hey, you want to talk? Yeah, I want to talk. You want to talk? And there would be no interference. It'll be great. Anyway, Jimmy, that's great. I think you will enjoy it. So it's like going to the park. Now you've got the whole space. You can wander around on whatever frequency you choose. So the next step, of course, is the general and up, and it'd be interesting to see what your call is. They have vanity calls. Maybe you've already got one picked out. So 34 is in.
52.
And 52, right on cue. I've got you there, Aaron. Let me acknowledge you with the other. Acknowledge you on this microphone as well. I knew you were out there, but I wasn't sure where. But I hear you now. KB6GFD.
Yeah, good evening, Dennis. SWL 52 here, behind the golden microphone in the FM mode of modulation, because boy is AM just plowed with people right now. So thanks for the check-in, Dennis.
Yeah, it is maybe another half hour or so. But anyway, it sounded good. You were sounding good. Got you checked in. Thanks, KB6GFD.
K6USY, West Fresno.
All right, I'm thumping the table. I've got to... I moved the microphone. You notice I've got the new shock... not with the windscreen. Shock mounts up there, but windscreen for the shotgun microphone, and it works well. It's just up in the air. I think it's picking up RF and on a lot of table noise. So 52 is in. SWL 53 checked in moments ago. What else? SWO. Who else? SWL 54. We've got Mr. Boardjammer. All right, I'm going to roll off. There we go. A little low frequency coming out of that thing. SWL 55. SWL 55.
55, checking in, Dennis. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I knew you were out there. I just knew you probably wouldn't hear me through the noise. But 55, M&M, you are in. Over.
I gotta turn this thing off. That's more aloha in a lifetime than I'll ever need to hear.
Now, you need a little less of the mini grass. You're going to trim the mini grass by rotating the volume control counterclockwise. All right, well, thanks for at least turning it up for the Old Tube Radio Network. You're sounding good. SWL 56 checked in just for kicks moments ago because he could. SWL 57, Mr. Brown Dog Audio. Now, and Al, not only is it AM and FM, but it's Echolink as well. We'll be checking in with a couple of Echolink stations coming up here in just a moment. And there's a chat window in addition to another chat window in addition to another comment page. So if I manage to miss your comment, there's probably a good reason for that. SWL 58. I'll get Jeremy a proxy because he got proxied in on the ditchbank sideband, and he is trying to convince Ron to increase his output power by a few watts with a suspicious device. And 23 Skidoo, I like that. Putting the late, things are falling on the floor. Putting the late in modulation and the freak in frequency. With he has no problem doing that. 23 Skidoo, checking in. He's Skidoo and skedaddling in and skedaddling out. I was going to blame the Skipland on 23 Skidoo, but apparently he is wearing his skip-proof vest and doesn't even have a clue of what we're putting up here in the Central Valley. I'm looking for page 1 here. 96, hello radio.
Right there, right back. My friend, 918. You ever going out there, man? One more time, baby. 635, 141 in Maui.
Yes, it says Skipland. Where's my chart? Let me go to the DX chart. I don't think it's updated. I know the band is better than. Let's go to, and it's not. Let me bring it up on the screen here.
29, I'm going to put the 41, shaka wave and get out the road, man. 129, you're 141. Maui, Waui, Wai, shaka wave, aloha.
Yeah, it doesn't show much. If we go to the 28 megahertz scale, there's what's going on. It's going to show where all the stations are coming from. So there it is. If you go to the West Coast, all those black lines there, California, Nevada, Arizona, and look where they're talking to. Look where they're going. Right there are the islands. All the Pacific islands are having a good time tonight with the skip, and we are in that mode as well, trying to talk local here at the Old Tube Radio Network. Direct and net roll call is where we're at, page 3, and we will have the radios coming up. All right, did I say, I know where I left off, SWL 59. Uncle Hairball is right there, listening in, jumping between Old Radio Night and the Old Tube Radio Network Night. Thank you, 59. I also wanted to say hello to SWL, where was it? Oh, 109, yeah. I agree. It's saying that the Mini-Grass is overpowering his ear hole and the S meter and everything else. 109, I'll get you checked in now. So that way you can continue on. I guess last night you were at the welding station, probably welding together the world's tallest antenna tower, so that it will not fall over. Oh, I see what's happening. I've got cables under the table that are falling off. Okay, 109 is in. SWL 59 is in. SWL 60.
Okay, Dennis, doggone it, boy, it's a rough one out there. As my brother used to say, great wobbly. Boy, the skip is really blasting. Hey, Dennis, SWL 60, checking in. And what do you have the fellows out there?
Yeah, we got them all over. We've got some stations here in town. We've got on the video side, the audio side, and who knows who might be listening in the Skipland but doesn't know about it. So we got you checked in, Joe. Thanks.
Thank you much, Dennis.
SWL 61, Dino checked in early. He just jumped in that little space between Australia, Hawaii, and the who else, and we got you checked in. SWL 62. Hello, radio. Ontario CB Club. 9 Oscar Charlie. Wants to know why there aren't more likes. Well, I don't know. I guess what you really need to do is, instead of liking the video, is like your radio hobby, whether it's on 11 meters or like Jimmy, you are expanding, getting your ham ticket, and you're going to do some 11 and maybe some 10 when 11 is unusable like it is now. Have a little bit more real estate. So you got to like it all. That is the good thing. Who would have thought you could just take a transmitting device and a piece of wire and send your signal out willy-nilly to whomever, and it doesn't cost a thing, right? Well, it costs a thing to put it together, but you don't get a charge for that conversation. It'll be free of charge. Over to SWL 62.
Right back to Bill Cody alive. 8429. Tell him all I said hello. Cool trades in Hawaii.
SWL 63. SWL 64. Craig was in earlier. In fact, he was the first one. I think Craig was the first one on the video stream tonight. Out of Wisconsin. Hello, Craig. Thanks for jumping in and joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Evening time, 429, 13, my garage on the Big Island, we're waving.
Hello, the 429 here in the Old Tube Radio Network, streaming live right now at oldtuberadio.net.
Yeah, you got a hammer, man. In the blocks out here. Catch you later, one more time. 13, my garage on the Big Island is gone.
All right, we got some gray line propagation tonight. So we've got Craig is in, looking good. SWL 65. No bill from AT&T. Nobody. You just take a transmission.
Right there, man. We'll catch you later. 918 as you're rolling back to the shack, man. Travel safe out there. 918.
SWL 66.
Big Island is gone.
Got to check in for Bill, SWL 67, listening in on the internet. Early check-in for Michael, NY 157, SWL 68. Also, check in for Kenny, who was on earlier this evening, listening in. I don't know if he's still on with us or not. Let me see who's out there.
That's my 510 Mobile Rock.
On at oldtuberadio.net, up in the balcony tonight. Hello to Seattle, Washington. Talked to a couple stations in Seattle last night on 40 meters. The band was pretty good. Yellow Springs, Ohio, Course Gold is listening in. Of course, El Dorado Hills in California, saying, who is that guy in the jacket? Kerman, Fresno, Shinston, West Virginia, as always, Middletown, Ohio. Glad to have you back. Plymouth, Minnesota, or somewhere near there. Toledo, Ohio. Ware Shoals, South Carolina. I think I know who that is. A couple of stations from Fresno. Hans is up in the front row tonight in the VIP seat, up with Charles and Chuck. Maybe, are you, he's studying. Okay, he's going to be vacation relief. Hans is going to be vacation relief for the cue cards coming up. So, you know, Jet does a good job. He often does little cartoons on the side to keep me smiling. Otherwise, I would be crying all the time. Let's go to SWL 70. SWL 71. I knew I saw Stan. I just wanted to roll up, and he was in about an hour ago. Saying hello, radio. I noticed it seemed quiet. I know there has got to be some type of contest this weekend, or, you know, state on the air thing, but I didn't hear much of anything on contest-wise. Maybe I just wasn't listening. It seemed awfully quiet. Hello to SWL 72. Shortwave listener 73.
Go ahead and proxy in 73, K6VLF.
Proxy in for 73, John. Also proxy in for 74, Miss Jilly. And let's see, who just stopped in the door here?
Fading out. And nobody, sound like conditions fading out there, bike.
And Whiskey India 3, Foxtrot, way on the West Coast. Well, I did talk to South Carolina last night, Wisconsin. I think New Jersey popped in. There was a couple of VE stations. So yeah, gotta be on 40 meters to do that kind of stuff. Although you never know. It was fun talking to Crazy Bob last Saturday. He just kind of jumped in, and we had a nice 2 or 3 minute contact. Over to SWL 75. SWL 76. Gotta update my list here. Looks like my internet connection is going weird. Rattlegram. That's what's in my headphones right now. Is a rattlegram. SWL 77. SWL 78. In Australia on 10 meters. I was listening in earlier, I think it was 28,425. There was a station just taken out of Australia, just getting station after station, and a lot of the guys in the Midwest were checking in and having a good time, because they don't hear Australia like we hear Australia, so they're always excited when they can get a check-in. Yeah, 23, Skidoo, it is a fine line between the FCC giving you a call or giving you or issuing you a call sign. So there's a ticket and an NAL, and never the two shall meet. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what Jimmy's call is, and if it's going to be one of those, I'm going to keep it, or if it's like, no, I'll go for the vanity. Over to SWL 79. And Philip was in earlier on the two-way, so I got DC checked in. SWL 80. Yeah, don't forget to feed the fish. SWL 81. Or the big red limo, the big blue limo, still delivering the last boxes, the last tons of boxes of Girl Scout cookies. And there was some other event going on where they had the outside of the vehicles decorated up, and they haven't told me what that was about. But it looked like a fun thing. Is Dr. Ron out there tonight, SWL 82? I doubt Ron could hear me. All right, the ditch banks. I hear the ditch banks underneath and overneath everything else. All right, ditch banks, you are checked in. Over. Ron on the ditch banks did a much better job last night talking to the thing. For you. And he did a much better job last night than I did, or than I'm doing right now, of talking to Australia. About the first 10 minutes of the Ditch Banks net was Australia. Also listening in last night was it Foxman 362? We had a couple people check into the live stream on the Ditch Banks, and then Rob didn't need to. He was hearing them direct. He was hearing Central California direct from Colorado last night on the Ditch Banks sideband net. Fridays, 8 p.m. Pacific time, adjust the time for where you are, and it's 36 lower sideband, so it's 27,365. 82 Ron at the air chair most of the time to take your calls, so check it out on Friday evenings. And so I think this is what Jeremy was talking about. Were you to have that 77 right now, you would be in command of the frequency.
All right, thanks, Janice.
All right, 73, thanks for checking in. Let's go to SWL 83.
Hey, nobody.
That's Jay-Z. You know, Jay-Z is out there. I saw him earlier in Ohio. That's easy for them to say. SWL 83, Jay-Z, I've got you checked in. Yeah, maybe we should have a 12-meter version. You know, on 20... let me see. That's 12 meters right there. Yeah, I've got the wrong antenna, that's why it's not queued up. It's quiet. But there's always FT8 on 12 at, what, 9:15? 24, 9:15, I heard all the time, even if you don't hear anybody talking. Let me take a pause. I'm going to take a pause here. Maybe we can talk off the skip here. I'm going to try some Echolink. So Echolink stations stand by. Let me take Tyler. Tyler, we heard you earlier coming in direct. I don't know if you heard us or not. So tell us true. Did you hear the Central Valley? Because we heard you. KL5TW KB6GFD. Take a transmission. Tyler, SWL22, we heard him from...
Took me by surprise there, Dennis.
Anchorage.
Yeah, I'm hearing everything up here.
On the Echolink right now.
A whole bunch of noise in my ears, and my goodness, conditions are just crazy out there. I was actually surprised to be able to check in with you guys tonight, running an old Skipper 71 that I picked up. Somebody brought it over. They found it in their garage. Put some caps and tubes in it and try to get her up and running and add it to the collection here. As you know, I like my old Skipper 71s and 73s. Anyway, Dennis, back to you. KL5 Tango Whiskey.
All right, no, you're sounding good. In fact, you popped in right over all the noise we were getting from the Pacific. Jumped right in and heard you a couple of times, so I wanted to get back, and that was right at the start of the net at 8 o'clock, so we got a good early check-in for you. All right, sounding good. Just want to acknowledge that you were there, say hello, radio, and you did a good job. So I think, I'm not sure if I had the video up or not, but if you go to the right at the beginning of the video, you might hear your call coming in. All right, thanks for joining us tonight. Over.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, no, I tried to jump in there early. I always try to jump in early. I forgot about daylight savings time, so that might have helped me out this time around. So I could actually find one good use for daylight savings this time. Dennis, take care. KL5 Tango Whiskey.
All right, 73. Thanks for joining us. KB6GFD. All right, one more Echolink. I noticed Al is in, so let me see what's going on that way. If you're listening in, KI6CBA, take a transmission, Kilowatt Bravo 6, Germany, France, Denmark, over. Sometimes it works to bypass the skip here. So I didn't hear. All right, I didn't catch any audio. Oh. It says it's not working. Okay, well, I can see that. We'll keep you on for a while. So, all right, I'm going to go back to the roll call. We'll be coming up to pick up Tony here in just a little bit on the Echolink, but I just wanted to make sure it was working, and I think it is. KB6GFD. Direct net roll call. Old Tube Radio Network. And we're getting Cheerios Kid checked in, SWL84, also the Mountain Maid, Candy Girl, and the Snowy Owl, 86, 87, and 88 respectively. I heard Jerry on the Jefferson Noontime Net. He was sounding good as always on his tube radios. SWL 89, SWL 90. Heading over to say hello radio to Felix, SWL 91, and of course he's waving his proverbial radio hand to all the shortwave listeners and tube radio operators, and even a special hello radio to Bozo Control. Thanks, Felix. Always good to have you along with us on the very late night where you are, Saturday evening. Over to SWL 92. Where is Mr. Roman? Right there, checking in. Greetings from North Idaho. All right, Mr. Roman, thank you. We've got the X in the square, and if I press the button, it'll say that you are checked in. Indeed, you are. Could get some conditions your way tonight when we get past all the noise off of this first gray line. SWL 78 from cool Wildemar, sometimes wild, sometimes wet, sometimes wacky. SWL 78 got you checked in. Over. And looking good here on 11 meters. Yeah, the band, last week the band was long. I didn't hear anybody in California if you were out there on, where were you at, 72 something. But Bob came in super loud from New Jersey for that little 3-minute QSO. That's pretty cool. We are looking for SWL 93. Shortwave listener 95. What's happening in Florida this afternoon? SWL 96. I thought I heard Dennis in there earlier. Hello 96. There's a break. Hello 96.
Hey, 99, I guess you're right, man. I guess it all depends on what kind of milk you're looking for.
We got all the 90s checking in right now. SWL 97. And Bobby, I see you. Let me get you in now. We got tons of skip. I'm sure you could talk to them. I might not. You might not hear me though. But 188 Bobby is in at the video side. Mr. Snowbeast, Snowbeast Jr. There. We've got you checked in, sir. Let's go back over to SWL 98.
No, but 99 is giving you instructions on how to milk a donkey.
Tracy was in with us earlier. And 79, I see you. I got you checked in from the crossband, but we will get you officially checked in now as you are on the Universal Media NetWeb. Okay, hello to who just joined us up in the balcony, Roseville. Hello, Roseville and Liberty Lake. I talked to Dana up in Roseville on 40 meters a lot. 75 at night, 40. Been talking to Dana for a long time up there in Roseville. Let's see, 98. 99, Radio Randy. I got a proxy check. Randy will probably be stopping in shortly. We don't have the right conditions to hear Randy.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
65 checking in.
Hey, 65 making it through the skip and everything else. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but 65. Eric, I've got you checked in, over.
Thank you, I got you. You're sounding pretty good. The skip is pretty loud, but I made it up here to the radio, and it's good to be on it. Let them all know it's up.
All right, thanks for checking in. Good to hear your voice on the radio, beaconing across the Central Valley and worldwide on the old Tube Radio Network tonight. Thanks for checking in. The often checked in but seldom heard. SWL 65, Eric, Mr. Marshmallow sounding good tonight on the old Tube Radio Network. We are going to go to, let me see if I can do this. We'll go back to the Echo link and see how things are working out for Tubes on the Air, which will be happening shortly. KD4BAO, KB6GFD. Tony from McClellanville, South Carolina.
Good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. Good to hear you. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
And it is good to be heard, always sounding good on the Echo link. Thanks for joining us. And the activation is about to begin, so we'll let you get to that. Thanks for stopping by. KB6GFD. Yeah, it was good to hear Eric. Let's see, 100 is in. SWL, I'm just keeping my place here. SWL 100 is in. SWL 102. Checking in right there. John out in Scranton, Arkansas. Saying hello radio to all the SWLs. Hope everyone is doing well. So far, so good. No one is no one is needing a Band-Aid yet, even though it's a little bit rough out there.
Trying to learn, man. I've never known Kentucky before, man. If I ever come across...
SWL 103. You know, I saw Joey in. He was in a couple of spots checking in over at oldtuberadio.net. And here on the video side, so South Carolina in Ware Shoals was on the list tonight, checking into the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks.
54, they might. How many strikes does it take there? Come on.
Just tell him I'm cruising the full field.
Yeah, still on the list. I had to, you've moved up. You've moved down to the almost to the mezzanine. So jump into the green room where we're having some special St. Patty's Day fair, I think.
Hello, around Riverside.
And they're having a party over on the video chat, which you can join the link. You go to oldtuberadio.net and there's the video page, and you click on that, and I think it throws you right in, whether you want to be there or not. We are looking for SWL 109. James, Mr. Crawdad checked in via the Universal Media Net web to get through all the noise, although I'll guarantee we will be able to hear his transmission where he do key up. He would, as we say on the 11-meter band, drop the hammer on those Skipland people. Let's go to SWL 110. SWL 111, Robert checked in earlier over at oldtuberadio.net when it was super noisy out there. Robert, we got you checked in. SWL 113. SWL 114.
114, checking in.
Beaconing through the cacophony with no problem there, Wayne. We've got an X in the square for Rickshaw, thanks. All right, there's another one of our local skip buster stations that does it without, breaking a sweat, getting through the skip out there tonight. Let's go to SWL 128. John has checked in with us over at oldtuberadio.net.
Nobody. Does it dribble out of your mouth there, Bray?
And let's see. He says power was out earlier in the week. And here we go again with unknown. I don't know why that does that. I mean, you're lucky if you go to oldtuberadio.net and your IP address shows up anywhere close to where you might be. In the next city, maybe the same state. And then sometimes it shows up as unknown. I guess is it the device? Is it a mobile device might be unknown? I don't know. I don't know why it does that. But we love our unknown SWLs because they are often wandering around the studio here with the shopping bags on their head, and the rubber duck antennas. So don't ever fret being the unknown SWL. So thanks, John, out there in Fairfax, Virginia. Let's go to SWL 131.
Nobody's business there, Bray.
Did I mention this is the Old Tube Radio Network if you're listening from anywhere? The Old Tube Radio Network on the air live here in Central California, streaming everywhere at oldtuberadio.net. And we do this every Saturday evening around 8 p.m. Pacific time, where we will talk to and try and bring out as many of those classic tube radios as possible to get on the air. That's coming up shortly. SWL 131, SWL 133, shortwave listener 135.
Hello, if this thing is working, this is SWL 135. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's working great. Sounds very good. Over.
Groovy.
Far out and groovy. All right, we will catch you in just moments. Shortwave listener 137. SWL 145. Tony up in Corsco. Probably have too much noise up there. I'll check Tony in. He came into the Ditchbanks sideband net last night. Tony, of course.
145 on the crossband. Hello, radio.
All right, on the crossband. Sounding good on the crossband. Breaking through my, well, it's not full quieting, but it works if you can hear me, KB6GFD.
Hey, thank you, Dennis. Thank you for the check-in.
All right, and thanks for being there. Good coordination between the FM and the AM and the time delay and everything else. You are checked in, looking good. KB6GFD. All right, that's Tony up in Corsical, checking in, listening on AM and checking in on FM. And Tony, of course, does the morning net, early risers net on Fridays when he is in town. All right, just checking a few things. SWL 147, I did see Neil in earlier from Fayetteville, North Carolina. He was on the video side. So, Neil, I've got you checked in. When I apologize for all the thumping and table noise. I probably have to reposition my cabling for the microphonium to make it a little bit more friendly. SWL 188, Snow Beast Jr. checked in earlier, moments ago. Who's that said boat anchor? We will be talking to the 11-meter boat anchors. You know, some of them were boat anchors for sure, and some of them not quite. I don't know if they could qualify for the definition of boat anchors, but I think just because they're old and they're heavier than the transistorized sets of the day and they glow in the dark, they are probably boat anchors. SWL 195 up in Coursegold. Jim checked in early, listening to the net and the skip and everything else that's running around. Let's see if Jeff is out there. SWL 226. And any late check-ins. And food for thought. Thank you, 23 Skidoo. In honor of Green Radio Day Eve, what was the one station from your area back in the day that made you green with envy? Good question, and we will maybe pose that. We will definitely pose that to our operators checking in. I had a few. It's probably the one you would think, but we'll see what's the radio maybe you didn't have way back when, and maybe you have it now. Maybe that's why you like checking stuff in. All right, back in a moment with the tube radios, the old tube radio network. I think we'll have some smooth sailing for the radios as we go into the second gray line, and things are sounding good. The old tube radio network, back in a bit.
Hey, 47, you sounding good there, man. It's up at evening time to you. Hello there, 47, big old mouth, getting there. Uh, 47, just down your blind spot down here. I won't hold you up, my friend. Hey, 47, big old mouth, moving out. I see ya. Bye-bye. Hey, 777 there, man. It was all you that time, man. Top of the evening time up there around the Garden Island. Hello, 777, you big old mouth. Come on. Hey, 777, got a bit rough that time. Nobody's at the time to roll a 5 or something like that. And no, but I didn't get the 5 there, mate, but I will tell 777 there, mate, just keep an eye on nobody's business. Big old mouth back, read the mail. Tell nobody you should turn it on. You can't service it, turn this shit off. Hey, 777, man. You said something about he better turn his stuff off there, can be. I'm not too sure what you want to turn it off for there, 777 there, mate. That's up like a boy there, mate. Loves talking there, bro. there, 47. You want to say get out of 777 as well, no doubt about it. 777 did not key that time round with the nickel there, 777. Big old mouth back where the mile.
Right back, big mouth, right back, big mouth.
Right back there, 47. He said 777. Right back, no doubt about it, like a heart attack. All right, I'm getting out the way, fellas. Enjoy the evening. I'll be reading the mail. 777, 47, big mouth pulling out. Bye-bye.
All right, God bless you. We have a good one. Take care. Big mouth. From Australia, 777 milligrams. Aloha.
And if you didn't know it, you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you on
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Are we back? All right, back into the air chair, such that it is, with a little bit of different configurations here on the studio. Let me check the REA meter. It looks like it's okay. I hear a bit of RF getting into the headphonium, so hopefully that's not too bad either on the audio stream or the big video stream. Tube radios from 1958 to 1978 when they stopped making them, but they still show up on a Saturday night here on the Old Tube Radio Network thanks to our tube radio operators. So, I'll open it up to your radios. First check-in tonight, I wanted to put this in, was Tyler. He came in at 8 o'clock right at the top of the net on his Skipper 71. Sounding good with that. And then we'll be asking the question tonight of our operators. Back when you started your illustrious CB radio career, what was that one radio that made you green with envy that everyone else had that you didn't? Did you ever get it? Maybe you got it now. Maybe you went out and bought one. Anyway, OTR is listening for any and all check-ins.
Something's a little sticky down here. Nobody. I'm back on the side. Bye-bye.
Larry Cam is active.
Okay, and that's right. We will have the Larry Cam tonight. Let me refresh that.
K6 VOF.
Looks like it's trying to come up right now. Anyway, OTR is standing by and listening for any and all radio check-ins.
Well, we'll give it a try. 135, 135.
135, giving it a try. Sounds good. I'm going to do something quickly here. See if the Larry Cam is working audio-wise. All right, he's still setting stuff up. So anyway, yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are good to go. Mr. Green Arrow, over.
Is a new address.
We'll make it through. Looks like I'm just the teeniest bit low in frequency, but hopefully close enough for jazz. Let's see, do we do the question or the radio first?
Well, let's see. Give me the radio, but we'll talk about the question first. That way I can search through the Rolodex here. So what is your radio du jour tonight? Over.
Well, in honor of the festivities coming up here in just a couple hours, depending on what time zone you're in, this is the greenest radio I've got. This is the Fanon Fanfare XM2300. That's Fanon Fanfare X-Ray Mic 2300. 23 channel radio. It's got all 23 channel radios. Green channel 11. It actually glows green. Let's see, there are 10 tubes. And, oh yes, and if this thing is working, you are listening to what I call the Emerald Eagle D104. It's the green D104. Back to you.
All right, good deal. I am adjusting my audio levels to make the receiver close to the transmitter. It might have been a little weak. When it's heavy skip like this, I'll have the receive side down just a little bit, so it's not so noisy into the SWL stream. But now we're cranking up the audio for our transmitters, and I'm putting the Fan and Fanfare in the queue video, but we're not going to go straight to it right now. But it is a definitely green radio. So Green with Envy was the topic. And and you have a lot of radios, so I'm just wondering, what was the one that was the elusive, Green with Envy radio for you, and did you ever get it? Over.
Well, I do have one that I did get, and one that I never did get, which
Okay, so you've got one and you don't got one.
Yeah, the one when I first started getting into all of this, of course, I think like most people, I wanted a Browning Golden Eagle. You know, that was just like, that was the cool radio, and I got one. But the other one that I always wanted that got away, and I after all these decades I never did get, was the ICO Sentinel Pro. I just thought that was the coolest thing out there, and I never did get one of those.
Okay, well, as you know, we did have a Sentinel Pro that checked in for many, many years, and who wouldn't want the Browning? The Fan and Fanfare XM2300, the green radio, and it is the picture, the photo that we have tonight is the one on which you are talking, and I'll take a short ride on your event here. The Fan and Fanfare XM2300 is the radio I almost had, and then someone talked me out of it. My very first radio, because I was listening to somebody and they had one, and it was a tube radio, obviously, and then someone convinced me, no, you don't want a tube radio, you want solid state. So I ended up getting at the same time, this would have been 1970, I ended up getting the first realistic Navajo, the TRC 23B or 23C. It's the one that didn't have the Delta tune on it. It was the earliest model. And I should have got the XM2300. I think they were about the same price. They might have been maybe $20 more or so. And of course, like you, yes, I also wanted a Browning Eagle. And I managed to make one out of a pair of walkie-talkies, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. The Fanfare looking good. Take a transmission. It is on channel 11 in the picture, and it is on channel 11 now. Go ahead.
Oh yes, and it's super green. It has a dark green wrinkle finish cabinet, and in the front, as I'm sure you can see in the picture, if you got my picture up there, like you said, it's two-tone green on the face, a lighter green on top and a darker green on the bottom. Super green radio, green channel 11, like you say, and Harvey and some great guys out at Red Monkey made this green D104. I think there's a picture of this, it is an amplified gray-based D104 that was made green. And I'm pretty sure there's a picture of it on Facebook, on the OTR Facebook page, somewhere in there. Back to you.
The D1, I think so. I'd have to go way, way, way back and look. We definitely have a picture, or I actually have it on the screen here, of the green radio. Let me pull up the Larry Cam, see if it's working, see where the audio is, see what kind of delay we have. Oh, wow. All right, for some reason I'm going to have to reset that. It's way behind. So I do want to get your radio up on that. Come back to the picture. My picture, having some technical difficulties. There we go. So yeah, the microphone you're showing is the mobile style microphone in the picture, but obviously that might not produce the audio you have right now.
Hey, Cliff?
Yeah, Harvey.
I am two-tone green with envy.
Okay. That doesn't sound like a green radio to me.
Oh, not the one I'm on.
Okay. And yeah, I've never seen another one of these. I was so happy when I snagged this thing. I just couldn't believe it. And, you know, I never saw one before, and I've never seen one since.
I've got it zoomed in quite a bit
out there.
right now. K6VLF.
At least I think. If there are, I haven't seen them. Oh, it's electronic keying, too. It's not relay keying. There's no relay snap in this thing. And I checked it out. Sure enough, if you pull the mic, there's no receive. So it's all electronic keying. It's super duper green, and happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. I can't think of anything more to say about it. Unless you have any questions, back to you.
All right, well, we will have some possible... Actually, we do have a possible question. Fan and Fanfare. Was that Fan and Courier? Possible Panasonic chassis, but I believe... Is it similar to the Courier 23, perhaps, inside? And some note here, the XM2300, do you know? It had a new Vista front end, a Collins filter, if I recall correctly. That's why I think it's a Courier, but not sure about that. The other item is... someone asked a question. I was going to take a transmission. I'm going to pull you up on the Larry Cam and see how things are looking over.
Okay, cool. I want to see it too, because according to my Freaky meter, which is digital, I think it hooks down. You know what I mean? It starts slightly high, and then it'll probably hook down. And hopefully it'll straighten out. But I'm very interested in seeing what that looks like on the old Larry Cam, which I will be checking out later on this evening. Oh yeah, I don't know anything about the Fanon manufacturing company, but yes, everything about this radio tells me it's just like a Courier 23. There could be some internal differences, but it's got the same tubes in the same place. You know, it's still the same 10-tube radio. Everything, you know, on the front looks exactly the same. The case is exactly the same, except, of course, it's not chrome. You know, it's a different color. But I really don't know anything about Fanon. And that microphone is an ECI mic, the same mic, actually, that I use on the Courier 23 that I've got. So you know, that and the Air Castle, I think they're all manufactured at the same place probably, but you know, different paint jobs and different companies sold them or something like that. Any information would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, we'll see what shows up on the trim. I'm having trouble getting the Larry Cam to show up. I don't know what the deal is. Okay, we'll see what shows up on the trim. I'm having trouble getting the... Okay, there it is. So, you know what? It is so non-latency here that it's only about like a 1 second delay. So I've missed everything. So now that I've got the picture, and it is really hard for me to figure this out. I don't know why it's not working like it did last week. So bring that in. All right, I think that's working. Go ahead and take a transmission, and I'll be able to see it.
Okay, there is your basic CB-type transmission. Yeah, I can't wait to see it myself, see if it steadies up, or if it keeps wiggling or something, but I think there might be a hook from above. We shall see. How's it look there, Mr. Dennis? But I think there might be a hook from above. We shall see. How's it look there, Mr. Dennis?
All right, it is very interesting. You'll like this. I mean, there is a big hook from above, and then it goes below 27085 a little bit, and then it wobbles around, and it stays straight, but it wouldn't pass the, you know, the drunk test and wobbles, it keeps going, and then it's sort of as you unkey, it goes back. So it's strange. The audio is good, but it has a very pronounced, interesting footprint. Over.
Okay, that will be interesting to see. I wonder if there's anything we can do about it. I don't use it much. There might be some off tubes in here. I'm not sure. We'll have to check it out. But I say since St. Patty's Day is tomorrow, I just had to save the greenest radio in the whole world for last. Back to you.
All right, there it is again. You can see the hook. Here's the audio.
For last. Back to you.
And it wobbles around, but it stays pretty straight, and then away it goes. And the register is open a little bit much. It's hard to tell the full width of the signal, but it's got great audio. I mean, you're at least 6K wide coming in. So, radio number 1 from Green Arrow, the Green Radio. Let me put it back up on the screen here. From Fannin Courier, their Fanfare XM2300. This is a early 70s model, late 60s, early 70s. Probably one of their last tube offerings. And doing a good job. And yes, that's one of my Green Radio that got away. And I still have my solid state radio, but I wish I would have had something like this. Thank you. Over.
Oh yeah, I share a lot of that story of yours. I heard exactly the same stuff back. For me, it was 1974. But yeah, it's the same thing. Like, no, stay away from those tube radios. They're unreliable and everything. Here, get this Pace. I got a Pace, and I can't remember the model number, but it's a 23-channel mobile, and yeah, it was a lot less expensive, and it worked, and I put it in my car for many years. I remember hearing that from dealers and other CBers and stuff. Like, oh no, don't go for those things.
Yeah, it was that newfangled solid state. Remember the days when every TV program that came on would say in color, and then it was every piece of electronic device would have the words solid state right on the front, so you knew exactly what to do. All right, Larry's changed the camera, and I think he went the other way. So there it is. Okay. Is there anything in between, Larry? But this is good. So, yeah, the hook is not as pronounced, so it's got to be somewhere in between. Or you could go back to the big one. At least everything is a little bit more pronounced with the Larry cam. When we zoom in, you can really accentuate what is happening. All right. Thanks, Cliff. I am rambling on here trying to figure out where I need to go next, but we have started off with a Green Radio.
Is that better?
Is there anything in between? Because it was actually pretty cool having that expanded version, because you could see the hook come up. So if that's the next step, that's okay. If there's an in-between step, that would be perfect.
Check it right now. This is kind of like the D-mod area.
Yeah, that's what we had last time, and it works. And I can see the little hook, but boy, it was really pronounced when we were zoomed in. It just, you can't see the edges because it's like a 5K window. So if this is step 2, that's good. If there's an in-between, that would be perfect, but I'll take this one because we can see everything.
He was swinging up and down about 100 hertz, and I zoomed in on it. It was a 700 times zoom, and I zoomed in on it because I thought it was pretty interesting, so I thought I'd highlight that.
No, it was. I'm just wondering if there's something where you're at now and like a next step of zoom in that isn't quite as much as what you had.
Oh, the further I zoom in, the more blocky it's going to get.
Right, so between what you had previously and what you have now, is there any in-between mode?
What about at the moment, right now? Look at it right now.
Okay, let me jump in and see the 5K, looking at the Larry cam here.
My turn.
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Take a transmission.
The Browning Golden Beagle R68T68 by Browning Laboratories. We'll get it in right now before Skip comes back.
Well, I don't think the big skip is going to come back. If it does come back, it should be the kind of skip that we like, which is the kind that will bring us a couple of radio check-ins. But you are certainly loud and clear right now, over.
Okay. Anyway, little announcement. Do it early. Maybe people haven't gone away yet. Maybe, maybe not. I lucked in a deal with some Browning radios, Mark 3s, Mark 4s, and a 4A. Excuse me. All haven't seen the light of day for probably between 10 to 20 years, maybe. I've opened them up. There are a couple of fossils in them, so that lets you know how old it is. And I've got one going, one Mark III. I'm waiting for a few parts to finalize it, but it's working. So I'll be selling it once I'm sure about it. I will probably burn each radio for about a week. Every day a couple of hours once it's fixed, to make sure it's fixed. Anyway, a lot of tubes, redoing all the electrolytic capacitors, this, that, the other in them. Anyway, and trying to do the best alignment that I can do without the, proper equipment, but, I'm getting it done. Anyway, some of the Mark IIIs might be HF models, and some may be just the regular ones. Anyway, I got one done, and I still have to have some parts that I'm going to get next week put in, and then it might be ready after another week. Okay, just thought I'd put that out there. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, and thank you, Harvey. Always exciting when you have some items of interest on the radio bench, and no doubt when it is ready for airplay, you will give it a run for the money right here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
60. Okay, let me finish up. Non-eBay prices, a lot lower. Okay, let you go. Go ahead, 60.
And hey, Joe, sounding good. Stand by one. We're going to get. Thank you, Harvey. We got your check-in on the Browning Golden Beagle, and I also want to get a check-in for SWL 57, Mr. Brown Dog Audio. I think I saw you earlier and you scrolled off my screen, but you were back on there. And if I were to get the right item, we could get you checked in. And jumping up into the air chair right now, right here, right now, as Motormouth Mall would say, is Joe. Joe, you'll be radio 4, so take a transmission. Over.
Thank you much, sir, Dennis. We'll need a mic check on this, too. We just kind of rebuilt this D104. And, Dennis, I'd like to check in if I'm still transmitting a little radio from Japan. Pretty little green radio, the Robin 123B.
All right, you are transmitting. I'm just doing some paperwork here, making sure I got everything that's supposed to be done. The Robin, and it was the T123B, over?
Yes, sir. The 123B. We just kind of redid this mic. It's been overhauled, and we hooked it up to the Robin here. Kind of got off the original microphone. Dennis, we'd like to check this one in, the 123 Robin, 11 tubes. 11 23 channels and a few extra channels too.
It sounds good. The audio is nice. I know that's probably a step up from the microphonium that we're showing that comes with it that is very small. So it's got some big audio. I don't think the 123 had the mic gain. Some of them had mic gain, some of them had RF gain, but you certainly don't need to worry much about the mic gain on that. It is a green radio fitting in with our theme, and we'll take a look at the footprint on that. Hey, Harvey, if you're listening, don't go away, because I'm going to ask you, wanted to ask you our question. Before you go, I know you will be back, and we'll get Joe to answer the question as well. So take a transmission back to you, Joe.
Yeah, Dennis, it's pretty little radio. It has a lot of good features on it. I was testing one right now, which was the earphone jack. I didn't particularly care for it. I thought it was pretty strong coming into the ears, so I kind of backed off of it. The earphone jack later. I did so that part of the microphone jack, the button, which would give me, let me get a little help here. Which would have been the external speaker, I guess. That light works, the external speaker light comes on, the PA button works real good, and a few of the extra lights while the TX button works good. Now this one doesn't have a mic gain. It does have an RF gain though.
Yeah, some of the Panasonic chassis, depending on where they, what controls they had in the front, you would get that. So I don't think it needs the mic gain. You've got plenty of your D104s amplified. You can work on it that way. There's the shot. You are a little low on frequency, maybe about 100 cycles, but it's a nice true. It has a downward hook when it keys up, but then it stays right on frequency. It doesn't wobble around too much, and looks good on the audio. Over.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And again, like I say, it's a rebuilt microphone. I just put a new condenser in it and did a little work to it. Made sure everything was working okay. This one should last a while. The old 321 element that was in there went bad, so we had to get rid of it. Now you got to go with the modern day stuff, and we had no idea how it'd be sounding. But that's good. You gave me a good report on that. I'm glad to hear that. And doggone it, the modulation light is proving out that it is working. And you're coming in super great. I was a little pissed at the back end there with the earphone jack. Maybe I've got two. I shouldn't blame it on the earphones. It did sound pretty heavy, bassy.
And it is a little bassy, although you don't notice that when you look at the audio here.
Bassy.
Oh, but it's not bad on that. In fact, it doesn't show at the bass line. Doesn't show a lot of the low bass. So where it is, you have a lot of energy in the low mids, and sometimes the 200 hertz. The 160 is actually not where you want a lot of the energy. So sometimes you can EQ that out. Sometimes it's just a proximity thing on the microphone where you have to actually turn the microphone down and maybe get a little bit closer, but not too close, or do something like that. But it's certainly intelligible, and I can hear you every word, so not a problem. Over.
Well, that's good. Well, doggone it, we did want to check it in. I could almost say it's two-tone because it's a different color in the front than it is on the outer part of the radio. It's a darker green, more of a teal color on the inside. Can I switch the range boost over, see what it sounds like?
Yeah, let's do that live. Here's we've got your item on screen.
The range boost over, see what it sounds like.
All right, yeah, go ahead with the range boost. Over.
Okay, Dennis, we switched it over. And I did like the way that sounded there. It wasn't too bad. It's coming on pretty strong. We're running it about, say, a quarter of the way up on the mic. But how does it sound with the range boost off?
All right, range boost off.
Coming on pretty strong. We're running it about, say, a quarter of the way up on the mic. But how does it sound with the range?
It sounds pretty good. It takes a little bit of that bass note away, but of course you lose a little bit of the volume as well. So, and we've noticed this before on the Robins, that they do add a little bit of bass tip up when you put the range boost on. So for some microphoniums, especially like the hand mic that doesn't have a lot of bass, it's a good thing. And typically on a D104 that wouldn't have a lot of bass, it would be a good thing. So it's either or. You might be able to run without the range boost. Is your, I can't remember, is it D104 is an amplified or non-amplified?
No, sir, this is an amplified microphone. Oh, boy. That sounds good. Anyway, this is an amplified microphone, and doggone, I'm surprised it sounded as well with the range boost off. That's a good note.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that's the case, because you could probably run the range boost off and run your amplification on the microphone. If you have the range boost on, I think that's what I'm hearing. You're going to have to turn, with the range boost on, you're going to have to turn the microphone down. So you get to kind of make the adjustment however you want, over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll look into that. Doggone, I have nothing to play back to hear, myself. So I got to go by what you tell me there. But if it comes down to it there, we'll do that. We'll try next time with the mic a little lower, and we'll see if that makes a difference, since we know now. Okay, Dennis, I've got another one warming up there, and another note on this Robin, for those that have Robins. What do you rush? Because these rascals run really hot.
Yeah, everyone has a report. I don't know of anyone who doesn't report that the Robin is that style of Robin runs very hot. So good for warming up your dinner, or keep the coffee cup. Don't spill it in there, but it could work out good that way. Audio sounds good. That's what I'm thinking. You might be just a little bit over amplified between the range boost and the other microphonium, but other than that, it's nice and loud. And not a problem at all. The skip sort of dies down, but our local stations are sounding good. Radio number 4, the Robin T123B. Green Radio fans are appreciative of your selection tonight, Joe. Thanks.
Well, thank you much, Dennis. I backed off it a little bit. I might have been coming on pretty close to it, since it is amplified. Okay, Dennis, I'll get another one warmed up here, and we'll get back on the airway with you.
Okay, and before you go, a couple of suggestions that you might try making that your morning radio, so you can cook breakfast on the top, those scrambled eggs and some pancakes if it gets warm enough. And I don't think I asked you about your, go back to your early radio career, and when you had that first radio set or two. What was the one that you aspired to? Was there a radio that you didn't get that you would like to get, or back in the day the radio that you said, I'm going to get this, and you eventually did? Over.
That's a good question, easy to answer though. I wasn't really into tube radios. I started off with an XLR 139 upper and lower sideband. We didn't mess around. We had a 308 Palomar and Moonraker 4, so we kind of started off big and really didn't take notice at all to the tubers. Doggone it, I wish I would have, and if I did, I think today I would be talking on a T00, Johnson T00.
Good radios, built solidly. There is, once again, if you're watching the replay, your audio coming in.
A T00, Johnson T00.
Radio keys up, it changes frequency a little bit, and then it's rock solid and some good 6K audio from the microphonium. Not a problem. Thanks for stopping by. You are radio number 4, and there's plenty of spots for more, and we've got time. Jingle Singers are coming right up. Thanks, Joe, and you're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Or maybe not. Let's try this one. Okay, the Jingle Singers are thinking about it.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. The friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
All right, well, despite my best efforts and cables falling off the roof here and everything else, we are listening for your radio check-ins, the old Tube Radio Network, on a Saturday evening, something we have been doing, believe it or not, on the air here in Central California since the mid-1980s. Yes, indeed, and our tube radio operators take time out of their Saturday evenings to share their radios with us and kind of give you a sound and a feel for what it was like back in the day when these radios were new out of the box. Think of it as like that car show you might go to on a Friday evening at the hamburger stand where you can walk around the old cars with the fins and chrome and the white wall tires. That's what we're doing here with the old radios on the old Tube Radio Network. My name is Dennis. I'm one of the many net controllers to sit in the air chair, and about 10 years ago we started audio streaming, and we've added the video as well, and we welcome our listeners and viewers from far out lands, and hopefully
Hello Radio 360.
right, it's coming back. Radio testing. The audio is trying to come back here. Slowly warming up. All right. All right, test radio. The audio is slowly coming back as all the audio equipment tries to warm up after the power failure. Things are on over here. The old Tube Radio Network. Let's check the transmitter. Hello, test radio 6-7. All right, transmitter's back.
Did you have a question for me, Dennis?
I have a lot of questions at the moment. Yeah. Hang on though. I'm recovering from a power failure here. And we are back from the power failure, I think. I don't see any flames, any smoke or flames. We'll keep the radio off and back if that works.
Pin failure.
I think the 2 meter came back up, KB6GFD. All right, so everything seems to be back. All right, everything seems to have come back. Well, you know, I had backup power on all the computers. They didn't go off. If they did, that would have been a disaster. And the lighting, some of the lighting is all in different circuits. So it was only on the radio desk. So I think I had a failure on one of the large power strips.
Okie doke.
Probably the crows sitting on the lines. K6BLF.
Okay, I think I am back. Over. All right, so we're talking to Joe. Joe told us about the E.F. Johnson TWO, and if you're there, Harvey, the question I do have for you. I'm just checking some things here. Smelling for smoke. It would look like we're good there. I'm getting my RF back, so everything is good. Yeah, all the computers stayed up, which was a good thing. So that fail-safe is good. And there were no flames for me. There was no flames for me to have to put out. Harvey, back in the day, back in your early radio career, when you had your first little crystal radio set or whatever it was that you might have had for your radio transmissions, what was the radio that you aspired to? Was there something that you really wanted to have but you never did? And if so, did you ever get it?
The radio I wanted was a Buddy Bass. There used to be this gentleman in the town I was in, Hayward area, and when he got off work, he'd get on his Buddy Bass, and he would sound like super duper duper kind of bassy and like powerful. So I always wanted one of those. And yes, in my later years, I finally got one and then lucked into several others. So yes, I did. And I do remember, even though my memory is going bad, of the radio progression, my first to, not my last, but, excuse me, as I started out, I went from one to the other. So I remember them all.
Okay, good deal. I'm putting up the Buddy Bass right now. And I remember that back in my early CB days, there were 2 stations in Southern California area that ran the Buddy Bass, and they were the loudest. I don't know if loud is the word, just the biggest sound, exactly what you said with the full fidelity. But I think most of them had to be modified. They had to run, what was it, the 6L6 and the beefed up the audio, and there's something else that they did. And one of the guys, his handle was Springs. And when I came to Fresno, 20 or 30 years later, he was up here in the Central Valley. And I don't know if he's still around or what happened to him, but his handle was Springs, and he ran a Buddy Bass, and he was notorious down there in Southern California for having one of the loudest radios, and indeed it was the Buddy Bass. So glad you got the Buddy Bass. In fact, you've checked it in a few times. I guess transmitter-wise they were pretty cool, 3-piece radio, but I don't know about the receivers. I've heard, I know Kevin had one as well, and he always said the transmitter was pretty good on that Buddy Bass compared to the Browning, but the receiver definitely wasn't up to snuff.
Oh, yeah, most correct. Yeah, I know about the modifications. Most of it is just changing tubes and retuning. What you can do with, I think it's a voltage regulator tube, you change it to solid state. You put a switch in with some resistors, output with the tube, and then you check it with diodes, and you'll see it's a lot more. So you put in some resistors and a slide switch mounted on top of the little contraption you make, and with it off, you get what you normally would get with the tube. With it in its high position, you get a whole ton more. Oh yeah. You change the 2E26 final to a 6146A or B or W or whatever. You automatically get more. But there's another one. I think it's a 6293. The plate voltage on the 6146 is 900 volts, I believe, or 700, something like that. And when you put in the bigger modulator tube, etc., you kind of get close to the ceiling once you've retuned everything. So you put, I think it's a 6293 in for the final retune. You won't get as high a dead carrier, but not by much, and your swing won't be quite as good, but that tube will last you 10, 12 years. It's got a 3,000 volt plate rating, and you just tune the radio and just talk. You don't almost ever flatten it out. Anyway, that's the big ad modification. Okay, turn it back to you.
All right, back to me in the studio. All right, I made an adjustment. Look, my power output had come up quite a bit. I'm going to go to the RAA meter and have a question to answer about that. And somebody was hearing an echo. Is it Al mentioned he was hearing an echo? Check to see if you do not have another window that came up that has the old tube radio net of some form on it. I've had that happen before, where sometimes it reloads itself, and somewhere in another window you've got the same program up, and so you'll hear the audio, and it'll be just slightly off to get the echo. There's the REA. Thanks, Harvey. There's the REA meter that is actually connected to my coax out of the transmitter. There is a coupling device, a coupler that runs the RF sampler into a little box, and that box runs to a program that you're seeing on the computer to take a look and simulate the true, this is sort of a virtual REA meter, but the ones that you would buy that are physical that go in your rack and show your percentage negative peaks and positive peaks, and then the asymmetry, that's the positive in the meter in the center to make sure that you are not out of phase. It looks like we're running up the right way. And then the scope that's showing my audio. So if I were to make the sine wave, the bad sine wave, you see a little sine wave going on. And yeah, that's actual what's happening at the transmitter. I'm running asymmetrical modulation, meaning I can get a little bit more than 100% on the positive peaks without in theory, having distortion or clipping on the negative peak. So it's a cool thing, and it really lets me a quick see if I'm undermodulated or if something bad happened or if I'm out of phase. So occasionally pop that up and see what's going on. But that's the REA meter. So it is sampled out of my RF, out of the transmitting device. This is your Old Tube Radio Network. We're going to take some more check-ins. I'm going to see if the jingle singers are working after the monster crash, and we will be right back after this.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite slot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
And coming up on a birthday there, I see, for a 007 Extreme CB. Back in the day. And there were a lot of good Brownings that were manufactured on that day in 1961, coming out of the factory, no doubt. We are listening and looking for radio number 5.
Hello, 60.
All right, Al, I'm glad you found the echo. How did I know that? How did I know where your echo is coming from? It took me a long time to figure out that echo business. It's like, look for the open window that's got the audio coming through that will drive you literally nuts. Radio 5 is with us now, and hello, Joe. It's you. Take a transmission.
Well, Dennis, doggone it, it's me. And I'm on my 200 Blackface Johnson. Doggone it, I think Harvey said I had to wait at least 5 seconds. Well, I've always been quick on the draw, or quick to punch there for sure. And doggone it, I still find it kind of hard to do, even on this old Johnson. This is a smarter radio than one guy thinks. It looks good. It's very durable. When all fails, you talk about your crash. I had a crash here of wires. I had to disassemble the whole damn mess and start from scratch, but a little too late for that. Johnson, I'd like to check in, Dennis, my 10-2, Johnson, 10 channels.
Right, the 10-channel Johnson. Not sure when this came out. The earlier model was the Viking, or the Viking Messenger, and it was a very pared-down version from their Vikings and Valiants that were running 6146 tubes, weighing 80 pounds, and on the non-class D11 meter. So they pared things down, got that 5-watt DC input, crystal control that the FCC wanted, and who knows, maybe these were out back when Frank was born in 1961. I'm not sure, but here's the ad. Now with a tunable receiver, because the earlier models had crystal control, both transmit, receive. 23-channel tunable receiver, 10-channel transmit, or transmit and receive. 2 IF stages for improved selectivity, excellent adjacent channel rejection, improved noise limiter circuit, boy, that's for sure, and a plug-in provision for the tone call. We've demonstrated that before on the Old Tube Radio Network. I think Harvey has one, and I think Phil had one as well. This is designed especially for use on the Citizen Band radio, authorized by the FCC. That Messenger 2 meets all FCC requirements, available in 2 models, furnished complete with microphone and cord. There was a 15-volt AC 6-volt, and 115-volt AC 12-volt. The 6-volt, of course, for running mobile, which it could. So maybe, being that early, there were still some 6-volt automobiles around. And it was probably about $190. That's a Canadian price from E.M. Johnson out of Waseca, Minnesota. It is good. Let me have you take a transmission, and we'll take a look at see where it's showing up on the footprint as well.
Okay, well, doggone it, it all sounds good. There is a plug back there. I think that might be for the mobile end, if a guy wanted to go mobile. There is a plug beside the main plug, which I'm using AC right now.
Okay, well, doggone it. There is a light behind the screen. It could neon light that probably comes on when you turn the, key up the mic, but it also flashes. And that I find a little unusual. You could almost call it a modulation light. I don't know if that this was supposed to have a modulation light on it.
The other Johnson has sort of a pilot light. You are coming in pretty good. Let me see where the audio is at here.
You could almost call it a modulation light. I don't know if that this was supposed to have.
There's the playback. Audio is good. Signal looks really good. It's not too far. It's a little low on frequency, but it comes up and stays nice and stable, and you can see the 6K at least audio coming through. So that'd be a good candidate if you really wanted to beef up the audio with a special microphone or an audio rack. Johnsons were always known for their good audio quality right on frequency, so not a problem with that. That is definitely a keeper. And of course, channel 11. Got to have that channel 11 crystal in there for the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
No doubt, Dennis. Most definitely channel 11 crystal, and that is on the letter C, according to the dial. Okay, Dennis, doggone it. We've got another one warming up, and we'd like to get it in there before the night closes out. I know it's been one heck of a night with the skip, and of course a disaster here and there. I know I've got a mess here. I'm gonna have to start all over again. It's kind of hard running 4 or 5 radios at one time. Dennis, thanks a bunch there, and we'll get another one checked in.
All right, thanks for bringing by. We've got it as, do I have it in there? Yeah, Radio 6 tonight. It was not, as beauty goes, maybe not the most exciting or beautiful radio, but again, this was Class D citizen radio. It was supposed to be utility. It was supposed to be big enough or small enough to fit into your automobile, to sit on the desk in the office, or the garage, or maybe even in the living room. Unit 1 to base, Unit 2 to base, and that was E.F. Johnson was true to form in their radio endeavor, at least for Class D. And notice there's not even an S meter on it. Really, that wasn't what Class D 11 meter was for. It's like, what am I hitting you with? It was not that. It was, go get the loaf of bread. So, of course, when they made the Messenger 223, things changed a little bit. After 10 years, they thought, we got to get competitive in the market and give people all those little extra things that they think they need or think they want. It's cool. But the bass, the sound, the frequency, everything else was top-notch on the Johnson Messenger TWO. Thanks for bringing it by.
Dennis?
This is the Basic Dennis, over.
Did Sean, number 14, check in?
I have not heard him yet, and of course, when it was his time up in the queue, we were right in the middle of the mini-graph, so I did not officially hear him, over.
Okay, I was just checking. I'll let you go. I gotta get back to working on this stuff. We'll see ya.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces and parts around that. Well, that's good. I've had a delay on my end because of some other projects that are coming up that are really requiring my attention. That's giving you more time to fret over your items of interest.
Oh yeah, I didn't expect this at all. Okay, I'll let you go. I'll be listening for a bit.
All right, good deal. And I see Radio Randy, SWL 99, has stopped by. We had our typical DX, our skip from Hawaii and Australia, and as their gray line faded out, we have not heard anything from anybody anywhere except for the local stuff, and that is okay. What you saw, let me go to the other cam. That was not the Hermes, but we do have an SDR, a local SDR that we are deferring to get the picture, right, to be able to do something here, of of the radio. So there it is. So that is not, that isn't, and you know for sure because you've got a similar thing. That is not the Hermes screen, but in the future that we are deferring to get the picture. There you go. So that's out of a local SDR. We can keep an eye on the transmitters. Radio Randy, looking good. Listened to you guys on 75 the other night. Boy, the band was not all that great for the local stuff. As usual, you're sounding good, but I would have jumped in, but I wasn't sure anybody could hear me. In the meantime, 40 meters, long hop is working well, and you never know when 11 will open. The Old Tube Radio Network. Let's try the Jingle Singers one more time, and then we'll be listening for radio number 6 in just moments on your Old Tube Radio Network.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
Wonderful indeed, listening for Radio 6. Hey, Joe, I've got a spot reserved for you right here. Over.
Well, that's the spot we're looking for there. That's for sure. Dennis, I'd like to check in my Johnson. 223. 10 tubes, 10 channels.
As we used to say, 10 tubes, 10 channels, no waiting. I'm going to do a quick adjustment here. After the power crash, a few things changed. And you know what? I'm going to live dangerously. I'm going to go ahead and reconnect. If the lights go out, you'll know why. I'm going to go reconnect. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Maybe that's what... Look at that. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe that blew the circuit. I noticed my 223. I'm for those who can't see what I'm doing, I've got the radio behind me and I had it on, and when we had the power crash, first it turned everything off, and I noticed it's not coming on. So I'll research that. Is it is the power supply that it's on not functioning? Did it not like the power going out? I don't know. Could be, you know, Joe, we're going to rack that up as to one of our other disasters, but yours is working, so I will live through your Messenger 223. Take a transmission, over.
Well, unfortunately, we didn't have any power failures here, but yeah, that doesn't sound good. But they are a little sensitive towards when you have a little reaction like that. I noticed Robin was that way. Something would come up and it, like in a sense, it would kick off for protection, otherwise burn up. But anyway, this is my Johnson 223. Very nice looking little radio, very sturdy. It's a well-built radio. It has your volume and your squelch, and your squelch is your on and off switch, and your volume is the volume, of course. The meters are lit up really nice. Good meter operation, and the radio just looks good there.
It does look good. I'm showing the one that has the modulation light, and we'll switch over to the one that does not. Apparently that little circuit or that light was always sort of there, and somehow they decided, or someone said, why don't we bring the light out to the front? But in the meantime, if you don't have one, it'll look a lot like the picture we're showing here with the squelch volume. And again, they kept the simpleness, right? I mean, how many knobs? You've got the on-off, squelch, volume, and the channel selector. So what they did was they added the S meter, is basically the radio you just had, maybe sideways in the box, a nice front throw speaker. And I think they might have improved on the noise blanker, and then they had to have a spot for all the 23 crystal control channels. And then they didn't worry about making it mobile because they had plenty of mobiles before that with the Messenger and the Messenger 2. And at this time, they were producing radios that had the word solid state across the front. And they figured those would probably play better in the mobile. But in the meantime, this thing works like a tank and it sounds great. Take a transmission.
Well, we like that. That's good to hear. We do have the 250 version. We do have the solid state version. They have same case, practically the same front, except for a few different knobs on it. But you speak of the knob situation, and I'm real comfortable with this radio because it only has the 2 knobs and the channel selector. Anything more than 3 there, I get a bit confounded, a little bit head twisted there. We start messing with it too much there, and we might turn ourselves off or turn the squelch off. But we do like this radio, well lit, a good sounding radio, and has a good sounding speaker that's got a good 4x4, I guess, inch speaker in it. And we are running the original desk mic, which is basically a handheld mic, because you just can't sit that back on the table and talk.
Yeah, probably could you, I don't know, maybe internal stuff. Here's the audio coming in.
We are running the original desk mic, which is basically a handheld mic.
And you are right on frequency. I was looking at the line, doesn't change much at all. And there's good 6K, 7K audio. It's just, you're not 100% modulated for sure, but the audio is clear. So were you to power up some other audio coming in, I think it would sound even better than it does. So I will research why mine is not on. There may be another power strip in that. I had a longer strip for the other radios that's supposed to be one of those professional styles, but obviously it is lacking on some items of interest, and it's not one of the Furman strips, which I keep saying I should get, so maybe it'd be worth putting something like that. And yes, where is my, was it 23 skidoos? Where is my field day sense so that your emergency communications is always available were there to be a power failure? So at least, like I said, all the computer stuff stayed on, so we're halfway there. You are sounding good. Radio 6, the Messenger 223. Yeah, the 250 is a nice radio, the special anniversary edition. So a good pair for that one. Over to you for transmission. Thanks for bringing it by. I just noticed my clock timer wasn't on the UPS, and it is flashing. I have no idea what time it is. It is almost time for counting and amounting. So go ahead and take a transmission, and I'll see what I can do about getting another radio before we get out of here.
Yeah, sounds good, and appreciate the good numbers on this radio here. I do enjoy picking this one up, and someday we're going to make a little modification on the modulation in it. I want to see what a D104 sounds like. I've got another one that I'm rebuilding, and the condenser will be coming in pretty soon, and I'm going to try it and see what it sounds like with a powered D104. Okay, Dennis, I got one more to check in. I think you know which one it is, and I'd like to get that one in before we close out.
Yeah, let's do that. That's good. And yeah, I'm just checking. No circuit. We got circuit breakers at the house here. No breakers flipped outside. I was about ready to go check that. And I thought, follow the source. And I traced it back to the power strip. So hopefully that's the deal with the 223. We just powered it down, because that's not the best way to shut down power. They have that slow fade out. I think tubes are a lot more forgiving on that type of a power surge or unsurge than transistor equipment is. So that's the nice thing about tube radios. They're a little bit more hardy and beefy. The Jingle Singers are back. We'll be counting and amounting, and we should have another radio on its way here on your old tube radio network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, for music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
the station for you is
OTR.
60.
Yes, indeed. Let me clear out the radio at hand, which is the E.F. Johnson, and make way for Radio 7. And I bet I know what it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know what it is there for sure from World Radio Labs, My Hustler. 7 tubes, 8 channels.
We've had green radios, and some people, you know, depending on how they see blue and green, they could all look the same. But World Radio Labs on the front logo there, as it says, makers of the Globe radios, and this Class D citizen band transceiver that they called the Hustler. The entry radio, 7 tubes. I bet the price was reasonable back in the day, but they didn't skimp. They gave you extra crystal control capability, tunable receive so you could get all channels without having to buy all the crystals, and found a spot to put an S-beater, take a transmission.
Yeah, you know, that's something, Dennis. It was well figured. I mean, it's a well-dressed little radio. It's not lacking for the size. It's not lacking the meter or the control knobs or a nice speaker. With all the carry and the handle and the mic holder and stuff like that, they even designed it to be portable in a sense. Where if a guy wanted to run it under the dash of a car, it'd make an excellent radio to carry, and at the same time it was a radio that had a few little features on it, almost like the big radio.
I think for sales and compatibility, there weren't all that many. I mean, we check in a lot of them that were just base radios that didn't have the extra 2. When you see something that's got 2 transistors, that was for DC to DC conversion. Or, you know, E.F. Johnson just made a separate model. So if it was a 6-volt or 12-volt, it probably was just the same radio with, you know, a tap on the power cord to go where it needed to go correctly. So you could buy it that way. And I'm not sure if this had my Regency Imperial has a vibrator, you know, the little vibrator tube thing in there. When you go mobile, you can hear it functioning. I don't know if this would have that or not, but running off 12 volt or 115 volt sounds good. Volume squelch. And let's see, what the tuning, what channel number is good old channel 11 in that?
Well, according to my channel selector, 11 would be 3.
So does it have other frequencies for channels, crystals from which to choose?
Well, there's 7 others that I've never tried, and it also has I'm just listening to a little snap, crackle, and pop on some of these tubes that are starting to cool off. Good Lord, the temperature's going down in here too. It was pretty warm in here. It does have a crystal slot right in front of the radio there. That could be my channel 11 one day.
Yeah, you know what? I've got a box of crystals. I have to find... It's got to be the right diameter, the right size. I don't know if there's like a 243, but the right size for the crystal. And I think that should be a direct... But I have to double check on that. A direct frequency feed. It doesn't have to have some multiplier on it. But that... I could be wrong about that. Then you would have that instant, as everyone should, that instant switch flip to get to the old tube radio network. Take a transmission. We will take a look at the footprint of this before you go. Over.
No problem. Yeah, that crystal would be a great idea if we did have it on there. And like I said, we are talking on, this is a Turner Plus 3 microphone. It is powered microphone. So we did talk I think last week with the original Blue mic. And like I say, the features on this radio sometimes kind of fool you because, I mean, you're almost looking at a big radio. Listening to it would sound like it would be a big radio, but I mean, it's only half the size of the 223. And not even quite as long as the 223, but like a loaf of bread, actually, sideways.
We used to call one of those a loaf of bread radio. There's the playback if you're watching the video or at whatever time you're watching. Here's the audio coming.
I mean, it's only half the size of 223, and not.
So it's there. The radio keys up. It moves a little higher on frequency, and then it is about, I don't know, 70 cycles low, and it slowly starts drifting towards center, and then it warms up or decides it's where it wants to be, and is a very happy transmitter at that time. Anyway, it looks good and it sounds good. It is a favorite radio because I think it's one of those one of a kind. Over.
Well, we appreciate that, Dennis. Doggone it, we enjoy it every Saturday keying up for those world radio people out there that might have one and would like to know what it sounds like. Hey, they can hear it right here, and they should plug it in and key up one day. We'd like to hear it. Okay, Dennis, that'll do it for me tonight. It's starting to cool down in here a little bit. Doggone it, all the tubes are cooling already, so we appreciate it, and happy St. Patrick's Day to all.
Yeah, that is coming up. We have had our share of green radios this month, leading up to the Green Day tomorrow. There is green things to eat in the green room, I guess appropriately enough. So if you're stopping by, we'll get you there. Jingle singers have that one thing they need to do. I'm counting and amounting, and then I'll be checking. I don't smell smoke, so I think maybe I had a runaway something on the voltage on the carrier output of the radio. Something went wacky, but with the exception of the 223, which I will hope is just a circuit off of the power strip, everything should be good. And speaking of good, you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR, Channel 11,
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
And don't forget, Soylent Green is people.
Yeah, I think Mrs. Calabash got her money's worth tonight, the Old Tube Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
Okay, I'll take an old Buzzard transmission and try not to blow anything up. The new addition tonight is the things are falling off already. The filter on the shotgun microphonium. I know, yeah, I know. It makes the microphone so long now that it's hard to get it out of the shot, but still keep it where it needs to be. Radios and check-ins tonight: 21 on page 1, 15 on 2, 19 on page 3, 23 on page 4 for a total of, looks like 78. We are in week 7. And of course, you don't have to be on any list or have any numbers to join us on a Saturday evening at oldtuberadio.net on the video side, live and direct. Or maybe you're watching the replay and it's 2027. And you think, who are these people from the far off past? Well, here we are with our tube radios, and it is the 21st century. Speaking of tube radios tonight, I was remiss. Well, what is our most heard radio tonight? We've got a Skipper, Fannin, Browning, Robin, E.F. Johnson. Looks like the E.F. Johnsons. Joe, you had something to do with this. It looks like the E.F. Johnson, the most heard manufacturers. We did hear at the beginning of the net, Tyler checking in with the Skipper 71, sounding pretty good. I'll have to go back and play that. I know I heard him sneaking in between the Skip, the Fannin Fanfare XM2300, one of the radios that I should have bought back in the day, but I did not. But I'm glad there are still a few of them floating around, and they sound really good. Thanks, Cliff, for that. Radio number 3, the Browning R68 T68, the first Golden Eagle, perhaps your Golden Beagle, the Robin T123B from Joe, putting some green in our radios tonight. The E.F. Johnson Messenger 2, also the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, adding some crystals and an S meter, and then Joe couldn't help himself and had to bring out the blue radio. We're glad for that. We are the benefactors of the WRL World Radio Lab Hustler. Thanks to the Hustler, and thanks to you for joining us tonight. Have a great radio weekend and a radio week coming up. We are still in cycle 25, so the bands have been good all the way up and down, 10 meters and up, or is it 10 meters and down, depending on whether you're band or frequency-wise. Congratulations to Jimmy getting his technician ticket, waiting for that call to show up in the mail or on the database or however they do it now. I remember when I got my novice license, it took not 1, not 2, not 6, but 8 weeks. This is before the Universal Media Network, where you could dial in and find out what it's. 8 weeks to finally get your call. But then the good thing was it gave you 8 weeks to build antennas and to find a radio and do all that stuff. So fun things. I will catch you on some band somewhere. We will be back next week, I do believe, doing a similar thing. Same tube time, same tube channel. So have a great evening, everybody, and we'll catch you next time on your Old Tube Radio Network.
Thanks, Dennis, and good night.
Good show, Dennis. Oh, you may have to proxy me in next week. I'm working.
Okay, it's that time of the month, as they say. Anyway, I'm going to go check out and see if I can't get the E.F. Johnson to illuminate. I hope it is just a flipped switch somewhere. And we will be back. Good luck and good progress on the Browning, the Browning project, and we're looking forward to more on that. All right, we're back. All right, for those of you who are still on, I found the issue. The E.F. Johnson is illuminated. There was yet another power source that had decided that it would also trip the breaker, so it was doing what it's supposed to, and now life is good in the Old Tube Radio Network shack.
I'm going to be getting 2 more solar panels Monday.
Do they allow you to put those things around?
Well, we'll have to talk about that.
off the air, of course.
Have to be very selective on where they go.
Yeah, these are stealth panels.
Well, hopefully they work.
Yeah, for $200 each one, they better work. All right, it's time to QSY to 80 meters. 73s, everybody.
All right, yeah, QSY, and you know what? I'm still up. The link went down again. I'm checking to see if the Squamish link will come up. If so, I'm going to stay on just for a second and see. Okay, wow. Okay, there it is. It did come up. I don't know why it's so noisy. They go to AM mode. Go to the other end. All right, there it is. The Squamish link is up. There's some type of noise on 27089, but I don't think that should interfere. So I'll leave this up. They got to be able to, because we have a little latency delay. They got to be able to see that the stream is up. See if we can take a transmission up there in Squamish before we head out tonight. Yeah, there's Triple C making it in. West Coast of Canada looking good. Volume is there.
Yeah, Triple C, Squamish, British Columbia. Triple C, Squamish, Columbia.
Coming through on 85.
Yeah, Triple C, West Coast of Canada, indoor antenna still. I'm surprised it's getting out this bit to the receiver.
That's not bad for an indoor antenna. You must be close to the source.
Anyway, yeah, that's probably why it's weak. But yeah, we'll get a base aerial going on in one of these moons.
All right, there's Private Thor is in.
Yeah, I'm probably 5-minute drive, maybe a bit more.
And Hans, I hear you. There's always skip when the internet works. That is funny. And when it doesn't, we got to play real radio.
Yeah, it's good to hear you on your private board. I don't know. 428 is, I don't know if he's down in Britannia Beach or not, but I could hear him.
The Old Tube Radio Network on the Squamish, British Columbia uplink, downlink. Listening to the radios in British Columbia live. Sometimes we hear them live without the aid of the Universal Media Network.
Well, who knows where 428 got to, but at least I'm here safely and you're there at 111.
I know, an indoor antenna, I can't believe it. All right, 73 you guys. Sounding good from way up north.
This is online. You could take private tour.
The Old Tube Radio Network. See you next week.